What is up?
Hello, my friends.
Oh, my bad. I'm just eating some of this fabulous JB's pizzas and sub. I got this sweet pepperoni.
Hold on. Wait a second. How the hell is it you're eating his pizza right now?
We sell froze pizzas, brother. He came in to see me, picked up a few froze pizzas.
I didn't know you did frozen pizzas too. Okay, that's awesome.
Corvettes are not cheap, brother. I got to do what it takes.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Yeah, I know. I mean, because you're high dollar over there.
Hey,
No,
I
Brian
would
just
love a pizza, but I'm trying to get back in race weight, so I've got a salad tonight.
Yeah, that looks like 1,000,000-calorie salad right there. Though.
Delicious JB's pizzas and subs salad.
Yeah.
So, Brian, this pizza is not a week old. Well, it kind of is. It was frozen the whole time, so it kept very well. It's quite delicious.
Nice.
You know, we ordered pizza for the whole family night, and my wife, Audrey, she's like, well, we got the pizza in the freezer. That'd be enough. I said, no, we're going to have to get another one because that ain't going to be enough. She's like, why? And I said, because I'm going to eat the whole thing. Oh, so you're going to save the good stuff for yourself and make everybody else eat something lesser? I'm like, absolutely.
Duh. Dude, okay. So in Tennessee, there's a place called Benton's Country Hams. Okay. And Benton's Country Hams is world famous. Okay. Now, I say that it's world famous because I'm not making this up. It's the real deal. It's on like Food Network shows and all this because they make unbelievable ham and to die for bacon. So like really high-end restaurants buy their bacon and use it because it's the best in the country, right? Well, if you ask either of my children, they will tell you that they've had Benton's bacon like once or twice in their entire lives, but there is always Benton's bacon in the freezer. It's just not children's bacon, right? So
Yeah.
I have 5 pounds of Benton's bacon in my freezer right now because I just stocked up. And like you have to earn the Benton's bacon. Like Benton's bacon ain't bacon you just put on a burger, right? Like Benton's bacon is a cathartic experience here. So I totally approve. Like there's kids, like if your kids think that, you know, Domino's is perfectly fine, then feed them Domino's and eat the good stuff. I mean, like seriously, you know.
Well, now, speaking of kids, we also have these delicious pan pizzas here for the perfect people for lesser portions or your kids.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about this? Here's what's funny about this.
Hey, I love that you're wearing the good shirt right now, by the way.
Check me out. I did that on purpose.
I know. I love it.
I can dig that. I can dig that. You know, I need to get one of them. I don't have a Shift Happens shirt.
It's so hard. Bang Shift apparel is hard to get. And when I say that, you can order it on the website, but which is where I'm assuming JB got his because I didn't bring it to him. But like there's literally like one style of shirt and some hats. That's all that's left. I'm in the process of redoing things. So, yeah.
Oh, I know the feeling, man. We're right in the middle of doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, say that again, JB. We can't hear you when we're talking and you try and talk like we can't hear you. It's awesome.
It's just been slightly.
All right, so I want to highlight something. Chad, did you see JB's name up there?
I did. Yeah, I saw the ratings champ. Yes.
Ratings champ, that. Showtime.
I love that.
Well, I mean, he's got to be the champ at something, right? Because last time he was racing, he took out about 17 cones.
Yes, that's true.
Now, the last time I was racing, I won big. The time before that, I took.
All right.
I mean, let me just say this, okay? So we've been going to UMI Motorsports Park for how many years now, right? Racing?
Several.
So I'm going to say, I mean, is it fair to say, JB, you've hit 100 cones in all those years?
I would say that's at least fair.
Okay. So do you know how many cones I've hit there? 0 cones, dude. I mean, I'm just saying. That's
a very valid point you got there.
Well, you know, here's what's, you know, since JB had such an early exit, I mean, you should have brought him up in the booth, and then he could have been the center of the show too.
I'm telling you, I already gotten enough trouble though from having Ramey up there. Like, the thing nobody knows is, like, I got a bunch of hate. Not this year. This year was awesome, but from the year before, a competitor's family was watching and apparently couldn't tell the difference between my voice and Ramey's voice, which I think is really funny. Yeah. And thought I was bagging on him because of a comment Ramey made that was not negative, that I literally had to go back and watch hours of live stream in order to find. And then I was really nice and didn't give somebody a big old FU or any of that. But I was like, yeah, so I don't need any help. I'm already in enough trouble without anybody. So,
I mean, yeah.
Sitting there together, I'm going to bag on everybody that I know. And
I know.
Well, so you probably keep me away from the mic.
We'll be in trouble. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
It's
That's too much. So, all right. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, and you guys both are, are resident auctioneers when we go up to King of the Mountain. Chad being the master of the raffle, and JB, you being the auctioneer up there. You guys are well versed in the charity side of things, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight is 3 weeks ago now, we had the follow-on mission on the SITREP. And the follow-on mission, for those that weren't able to watch, is a nonprofit organization started by a retired Special Forces Green Beret, retired out of the Army, started this nonprofit. And their whole purpose is to put veterans, law enforcement officers, and first responders like paramedics, EMTs in race cars to help them cope with their PTSD and stress-related issues. Mm-hmm. Basically, the idea behind this is to take the experiences they've had that, many times are negative, whether it's in combat or, as a law enforcement or, first responder onto a scene of a crash. They've got a lot of negative emotions when adrenaline hits and they go into that fight or flight response. Well, putting them in the race car is trying to change the narrative and how the brain processes that from a negative experience to a positive experience. And that can help treat and help them to cope with their PTSD and other stress-related disorders. And it's actually been shown. It's my wife's not here tonight. She'd be able to give me the right term, but exposure therapy. There we go. It's a form of exposure therapy. And so this year, we as OSS, our focus during our local autocrosses, Operation Autocross here in Clarksville, and any of the events that we go to, we are focusing on raising money for that to help them finish their car. They're building a 78 Malibu G body. It's running a full UMI suspension, LS swapped with a 4-speed Muncie behind it. Move the motor back about 15 inches or so. They're running a Brian Tooley cam. They got it's a beast. This car is set up to scream.
So then this car is going to be used for anybody to drive at any of these events.
Yes, it's going to be used by anyone to drive. We got a full NASCAR style roll cage in this thing. And the individual that built that is also a former Special Forces Green Beret. So it's kind of an awesome thing where we're all kind of coming together.
Yeah.
And all the donations and the funding are going to getting this car built. And not only is it to getting the car built, but paying for these people to come and race this car at Champ Car endurance events. So they're going to get 90-minute sessions in the car, and then they'll work on the pit crew. But the intent is to have everything funded, their plane ticket, their hotel, food, all of it.
So hold on. So you're going to host these people at a Champ Car race, which, if people are watching are not familiar, are endurance races that range between 8 and 24 hours. And you've got to have a team of at least 4 people, I believe, is the Champ Car rules still. Mm-hmm. 90 minutes is the maximum amount of time somebody can be in the car at one time, or 120, one or the other. So you're going to be able to give multiple people this experience in a given weekend, because they're all going to trade out getting in this car and driving the thing.
Yeah, they're going to trade out getting in the car. When they're done, they're not in the car. They're going to be helping out with something else, whether it's changing tires or fueling the car up or what have you. It's a whole team concept. And, if you know anything about law enforcement, first responders, and military, it's all around the team concept.
Yeah.
And so that's what this is doing. It's giving them that camaraderie that they especially this happens to a lot of retired people and people that get out of the military. And, I'm sure law enforcement, first responders, when they move on to a different career path, they miss that camaraderie. And so this brings all of that together. And, the organization's providing fire suits and shoes and helmets. Like literally it's a package deal. You show up with some clothes on your back and you're going to be taken care of for the weekend.
That's pretty cool. That is cool. When are they figuring they'll be ready to start doing that this year?
So they're trying to get the car done this year for a race this fall. I got to get the date for the race that they're trying to get the car finished for. I want to say it's at Ozark International, new track they just built up in Missouri.
Yep.
But I have invited them to all of our local autocrosses here through Operation Autocross this year.
Where's the car based out of?
Based out of Missouri. So they're about 8 hours from where I'm at.
Yeah.
They've also been, I've also invited them up to Muscle on the Mountain and King of the Mountain to come and hang out and whatnot. UMI has been a huge supporter for this. The car's under, entirely under UMI suspension, and Ramey and Ryan have both put a lot of support into helping them get this thing on the road as well. So it's exciting to see it come to fruition, and we're going to try to do whatever we can to help support that. So the intent behind this and bringing both you guys on here with your ratings champ, Showtime, and star power is to gain awareness for these guys and help them get to know, help people to get to know them and try to get them some movement forward.
That's awesome. What, how many guys did it take to put this whole plan together, and when did they start this thing?
So this got started in 2020.
Okay.
21. Sorry.
Together, and when did they start this thing?
Sorry. So, you're good, man. So it got started in 21. I'd been talking to the guy started. His name's AJ Jackson, and he's getting ready to retire out of the Army, and he wasn't sure what he was going to move forward. And he basically decided that he wanted to build a race car and help people out, and that's what he did. And started this thing. My wife Audrey and I were involved for the first year. We were board members of this for the first year to help them get off the feet. We did a joint event at Good Guys where when they could still race and or still provide rides to everybody. And we did it. Got to be raised like $3,000 over the weekend for these guys through T-shirt sales and rides and things like that. So it was pretty awesome deal. They've got a pretty robust team, and I can actually share the screen here to give everybody a quick rundown. Let me do this. That actually probably help out a little bit.
We were talking before we came on the air, Josh and I, and he's going to try to have them at some of his clerk events. So I'm going to try. I've got a 2-car hauler. I'm going to try to bring a couple of the cars out and give some guys some rides when it will fit in the schedule with other stuff. I think it's a great thing.
Oh yeah.
Help any way I can.
Well, and obviously good cause, we're trying to deal with, as you said, stress-related illness. Here you are, with a great group of people that obviously it's easy to stand behind. But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter whether it's first responders or, or military or just kids or just regular Joe Blow people. Anybody that we can expose to what we do in a positive way is a good thing. It's good for the industry. It's good for people, right? I mean, you talk about the team aspect of it, and there's a lot of times where racing a car is a very, solo kind of deal, right? When it's your own thing and you just go all by yourself out to a race or whatever, and you go to an autocross, but you're not by yourself. Even if you drove there yourself and unload your car by yourself, once you're there at the race, then your race family is there with you as well. And that's another level of camaraderie and, support and what have you. So, anytime anybody has anything that gets people out at a racetrack and gets them involved, I think is a win. So it's great. That's cool that these guys are doing this for sure.
Let me go ahead and share this clip real quick. Chad, correct me if I'm wrong. If I play this, is it sound going to travel through the system?
It should.
Notice he didn't ask me.
No. Won't go?
I got nothing.
Yeah. Not on my end. Everybody's in the chat. Bing bong.
Yeah, bing bong. So that's their little intro video that they've made, and here's some pictures of
We
the
couldn't
race
see
they
it.
did. Could you guys not see that?
No, don't know.
Nope.
No,
it's just this overall.
Okay, hold on just a sec.
Yep.
Let me fix this real quick. I'm still learning this whole thing.
Oh yeah. You can under brands, you can go in and put it in as just a video clip in there, and it'll take over the entire screen, or you can do it as a screen share. Either way.
There we go. I got it figured out now.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Where did it go? All right. Here it is. All right, did that go through?
That's cool. Oh yeah,
All right.
perfect.
Perfect.
I'll tell you the other great thing about them doing this with Champ Car, and I don't know if either of you guys have done any of this, but that's real wheel-to-wheel racing.
Yeah.
As awesome as it is, like doing all of the track day events and the autocross stuff and everything that we do in the pro touring world, the truth of the matter is that doing actual wheel-to-wheel racing is a whole other thing, and it's awesome. Like, it is one of the best things, I think, for drivers. Like, I think everybody should get in doing autocross and some track days and stuff to get comfortable with what the car will do. But then I think getting in a beater like that you're not worried about rubbing the fender on and going wheel to wheel with people is the biggest confidence boost anybody can get. It's insane how much fun it is to do wheel to wheel racing.
It's hard to describe how much fun it is when you're out there with just as big of an idiot. Well, maybe not as big an idiot as me, but you're friends with these guys, and you're out here. And man, anytime I've been wheel to wheel, even on a bad day, you can't really beat the smile off my face with a stick. It's like Chad said, it's a whole nother level.
It is, and it's I don't want to, like, it's not as intimidating as some people might think it is. I mean, it can be, don't get me wrong, but it's not that part of it that makes it intense. It's the fact that, like, the confidence you get the first time you're in a corner with somebody and you literally are within 6 or 8 inches or less of them, and you're both going around a corner and you've dove to the inside or you're on the outside, whatever. Like, there is something really, like, just, I don't know, raw about the fact that you are keeping this car from that person, and you know it. Like, if you're on the inside, the slightest wiggle whacks into them. Like, you can totally do that. Like, everything you've ever thought could happen watching something on TV, you're in control of. And when you go through, like, your first series of S's or something on a road course, 3 wide, and you're not bumping and banging very much anyway, and everybody's still under control going out of the other side of it, it's a high. Like, it's a crazy rush, and it's awesome.
Absolutely. And to add to that, I think you're responsible for the other driver's well-being. If you totally blow it and you knock the guy off the course, you've just messed up his ride. You could have hurt him. So you're not only responsible for you, but you're also responsible for the ones around you. And it's just, now, when you make friends with these folks, it's like now you're doing it together, and you get this bond with these guys, and you got to trust them, and they got to trust you. And Yeah, whole other level, raw. I don't know how to describe it if you've never done it, but it's like, oh man, it's awesome.
Yeah, because I know guys who have like, you go to the go-kart track, right, with your buddies and you're doing that. And I guess there are some similarities to that a little bit, but on the go-kart track, you have zero concern for yourself or anybody else's well-being because you're like, man, they let little kids ride on these. How bad can it be? Right. But the truth is, like, that same intensity is there in the car, but there is, I don't know, there's just something
You're
else
in a 3,500-pound machine, man.
Well, yeah.
And you're doing 120, not 20.
Not 25. Yeah. And I've been in, well, we did 24 Hours of Lemons race in Altamont, California, a jillion years ago now, me and Freiberger and a group of friends. And we did it in this giant Plymouth that is now why there are all of the rules that are in Champ Car are because of us. I had more fuel than anybody had ever brought on board. We did all the right cheating. It was awesome. But anyway,
all the right cheating.
the thing that was funny is we had all of these attachments on the car, and this is in 07. So this wasn't like now where a GoPro will last like an hour or an hour and a half or any of those kinds of things. So we had like all these little cameras mounted, literally like a dozen cameras on this car, and they were all powered off of a whole power station in the middle of the car and all this stuff with an inverter. And I mean, it was crazy, right? So there is a time I don't know where any of this video is anymore, but there's a time in one of the videos where I'm in a left-hander coming off of between turn 3 and turn 4 at Altamont, which is an oval. You dove down into the infield and made this really tight left-hander and then on through the infield. And there's a point, we're the biggest car by more than twice as big as anybody else's car there. And there's a time where 5 cars are hitting me at exactly the same time. Like literally you can watch on the video. It's like boom, 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 because they're all trying to get around me or not get passed by me. Right. And I own this. I'm in the biggest thing. Get the hell out of my way, losers, and it was awesome. But at the same time, like JB says, you could put somebody out. I mean, there was a guy in a BMW. I'll never forget it as long as I live. He was trying to take the corner from our buddy Todd, and it was Todd's line. Todd had it, and Todd just stayed with the line. And the other dude didn't quit and went off the racetrack, hit a tire pile, and went on top of a set of, it was 4 tires, 4 or 5 tires high, but all in this bundle. And it drove up it, and the thing flipped over, and it ended up on top of it with all 4 wheels off the ground, like it was on a lift at the tire store. It was hilarious. And that dude lost his mind and all that. We're like, dude, we have the line. Like, it was our deal. Sorry. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, to go race wheel to wheel, do it. It's awesome.
So there's the website and the link, and anybody's interested in trying to help support these guys. But yeah, and that's the thing, JB and I, before we came on screen, he was talking, he's like, I've never been shot at while racing a car. I'm like, no, you haven't. But the stress that, and if you've been shot while racing a car, then, I'd ask where you were racing. Were you racing in, Mosul, Iraq or something?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Street racing in the wrong part of town, maybe. Yeah.
But, the thing is that the adrenaline that body is experiencing is still the same. It may not be the same extreme as somebody getting shot at, but it still is an extreme, and it helps to change the body and the mind and how it is responding to it. And, one of the interesting things is that research shows that over time, the body will change and adapt based on stimuli. And you're basically rewiring somebody back to a state in which they aren't easily, or they're not struggling with those things, because, people that are truly, the people that are dealing with PTSD, it's not a fun thing for them. It's a very difficult thing, and it's hard on the family. It's hard on the person, the individual themselves. And, the founder's got a very inspiring story. I mean, he tells it, he was at his very end of the rope, And he found a champ car through Battle Scarred Motorsports, who does a very similar program. And they put him in the car, and it was a complete transformation. It was his way of finding finding back to his, back to his good place, back to his happy place where he wasn't struggling anymore. So it's inspiring to hear. And, we want to do everything that we can to try to help these guys get a good kickoff this year. So one of the things that we're doing, we are going to be doing raffles at all of our autocrosses this year. So we're going to do a raffle. We'll sell tickets. We're not quite the extravagant display that Chad has become very good at, but we're learning. We got the whole armband, $20 for an arm's length with the tickets. And we're doing that.
Oh,
so,
yes.
If you've got apparel or anything like that you want to support with the raffle or things like that, we'd love to take that, and help. Everything that we get goes directly to them. So it is going to be entirely for that. And
how do people get a hold of you guys if they want to donate stuff?
So if they want to I'll type this in here. Just shoot me an email directly at josh@ossparts.com. And let me go ahead and show this right here. So if you want to do anything like that with the raffles or anything, reach out to me here. If you want to get in contact with these guys, reach out to me here, put you in contact with them. I also, a couple messages up, I posted their website so that you can get in contact with them that way as well. And we can try to help grow this thing. I want to see these guys on track before the end of the year.
Yeah.
I definitely
awesome.
Support these folks. I really feel good about it. I think it's a great thing, and it's another way to motorsports for more people.
Yeah. And it's one thing that I've talked to a lot of people about this, and I've seen a lot of people.
I'll be right back, guys. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. You guys keep going.
But I've talked to a lot of people about this, and the motorsports world has given me a very similar camaraderie, family feeling that I felt in the military. I've got friends that I've met in the military, and I've been friends with them since I've been in. I hit 20 years in January, about a month ago. And after 20 years in the military, there's friends that I met 17 of them ago. And I won't talk to them for 2 years, but when I run into them again, it's like nothing ever changed, and we are the best friends. Just like you guys, everybody on here that's, sitting on, I look at this chat, and we've got over at least 100 messages at this point in this chat group. I don't see some of y'all for at least 6 months at a time. And when I do, we're back at it. We're friends, we're family again, we're drinking beers, we're hanging out, we're having a good time together. So I think the family environment is very similar, the camaraderie.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely. And I love the racing so much because of the family aspect of it and friends. It's, like Chad and I, we meet, we start talking. Well, we're lifelong friends now.
Yeah.
A lot of the people watching, it's the same thing. I don't see any of the comments on here, but I'm sure, people bragging us every one because they're our friends. And it just means so much to me. All these people and the friends and you was talking about, like Chad was talking, like no guy, he unloads the car himself. He does. Okay. But even me, I'm like mostly by myself when I'm at the race, but it takes no man is an island. It takes a crew of people to put my package together. Then when I get there, if I have troubles, there's 10 people lined up to try to help me because they care about me. It's, you're not by yourself in this, where it be car, where it be racing the car, where it be at the camping festivities afterwards. It's all just a big family. And the more people I can get into it, it's just like what they're trying to do here. If we can help these guys, we can get them in the family. They know that people care about them. And like you say, it don't matter if we don't see them for 6 months or a year. They still know. I still know my friends are out there.
Yeah, and it's funny because, there are, like, obviously we have blood family, right? Everybody's got their family, however big or small, right? But then, like, I have certain drag race families, you know what I mean, that are
Mhm.
in certain kinds of racing I do, and then drag race family over here that's other racing or putting on events or announcing or whatever. And then there's, my pro touring family, which is also different, right? Because there's my East Coast group, right, which you guys fit in. I mean, I see you other places, but that's where you guys are out of. I got my West Coast crew, as well. And so it's funny because
Man, he sounds like Tupac and Biggie right now.
I know, right? But the cool part about that is when, like, sometimes there's times where part of your West Coast and your East Coast family end up at an event together. They normally never get to see each other, or maybe have never met you, right? Or have never met the other group. Their only thing in common is me, or it's JB, or it's you, Josh, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, so your circles of friends that are all into the same stuff, like all of a sudden they start to overlap, and pretty soon you got a new circle that's made in the middle,
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, I mean, you get people all over the place having a good time doing what they love, and in our case, it happens to be wasting money on cars,
It's good, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right at PRI, I took Jansen Fisher with me, and so we're walking around, and I'm talking to this guy, and I'm just assuming he knows, because he autocrosses too. And it's like, you didn't know them, did you? No, we meet up with. And so he meets all these new people, and he's like, "How many people do you know?" And it's like, "I don't know. I'm friendly."
Right.
Guy that doesn't know you've ever met.
Yeah, and it's interesting how even within autocross, you bring up how you have a circle here and a circle there, and and it's a different group of people. It's like I got friends that I see at Good Guys events all the time, but I don't see them anywhere else. And I got friends that that I made while doing SCCA, and I don't do SCCA anymore, but now they've kind of moved on to some other stuff, and I run into them. And then I got the crew that is, dedicated. We go up to UMI every year, and it's interesting to see the different people and where they all are at and how those friend groups kind of merge and meld together.
Oh yeah, agreed. And I mean, we've been doing this a long time, all of us at some level or another, right? So, the thing for me is that I go to all these events, and I've met so many people at different events all over the place. I've had like some of the funniest experiences, because like LS Fest, for example, when I first started, I mean, I've done every LS Fest, right? So when the very first year of LS Fest, there were legitimately more staff on site than cars. That's not a,
I remember that.
funny. It's literally, there were like 41 cars or something the first year, right? And at the whole same facility that we use for the giant LS Fest now. So,
Yeah.
it was a lot of empty space, but so what? We had a good time, and we've met all these people. And like, I remember the first time my son Cole, ever came to LS Fest, and he and I drove there, and people were hitting me up. They were at Double Dogs. They're like, "When are you getting into town?" I'm like, "I'm close, whatever, be there in 20 minutes. And like, we walked in the door at the, entrance to Double Dogs, which is one of those little, like, walk in the first door and there's enough room for 10 people to stand. And then the second door, and we walk in there, and all we're going to do is go in and find our, buddies. Well, the people that were the 10 people in that thing are like, "Hey, Chad," and Cole's like, "What in the hell?" Then we walk in the restaurant, which is a shit show. The place is loud as hell. And everybody's like, "Chad," all this stuff. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, these are my people. Like, I mean, so, I mean, it's cool. It's fun. Like, we get to be a part of something, the UMI events. When I first started with that, you guys know, like, I was blown away. The first event was so much fun. It was so cool, but it was little compared to what it is now. And they've done so much with the racetrack, and they've put so much thought and effort into the events, and it makes them so much fun to be a part of,
Oh, definitely. And it's funny you bring up LS Fest, because I went to the inaugural LS Fest as well. And I had a couple-year hiatus, but I went to the inaugural one. I had an 04 Pontiac GTO that I was running spare tire skinnies up front and drag radials on the back.
Nice.
And I still managed to run poorly in the thing. But what was nuts though is I drove past the autocross getting to the drag strip, and what's nuts is I'll bet there wasn't 40 cars autocrossing. Like if you would have went to that autocross, you'd have probably got 50 runs that day.
I mean, literally the whole, like, there were only 40 cars, 41 cars entered. Like that was it, and it was crazy because yeah, you could get all the runs you could possibly ever.
JB, these guys are being brutal on you, man. We got to let you in.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying sitting and listening.
JB says, Brian says you look sad. Donald Chafin says that not having a cool headset must be a disadvantage.
Well, see, when JB tries to talk, if one of us are talking or have been, it silences him for some reason.
Every time I'm on SITREP with JB, somebody has audio problems.
I don't know. I'm not techie, and I'm broke from buying Corvette parts. So you put those two together. I don't own a computer. I don't have a headset. I'm kind of out to lunch on this.
You're on your phone right now?
Yes, sir.
Then that's why. So JB has, and I mean, it's good, but he has the echo turned on so that when we're talking, it silences his microphone so that you don't hear my voice twice, because God knows nobody.
Oh yeah,
that.
the echo.
Yeah, and then that means that it's turned off his microphone. So until it goes, oh, Chad, shut up, or Josh, shut up, and turns back on, then JB is the silent talker.
Well, it happened to Josh last time, so it's only fair it happens to me this time.
Oh my God, that was so bad last time. That was rough. I will throw this out. JB did hit 60 viewers at one point in time while live.
Yes, that's true. I was one of them.
Yeah. Oh, see, look at that, JB. You had help from the competition.
Oh, of course, dude. I was tuned in. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, this is funny.
Tim Gordon, did I miss the tortilla slaps? I like
yes,
that. Yeah. And Brian Pico is saying Otis is walking around looking for Chad's jar of peanut butter. I don't know if you guys could have heard it before, but Otis was in the backyard throwing "It's my yard and my street, you bastards, shut up," which he just was losing his mind. And now he's wore out. So he was wandering around waiting to get a drink, I think, trying to catch his breath. So yeah.
Hey, Chris Reinhardt, I will bring you some fries at UMI this year. They might be stale, but I'll bring you some.
Yeah, some fries. I'll give you some fries. Hold on, let me find these fries right here. Sorry, this one won't come out of the bag.
You got to be careful with that. Chris Brown got banned earlier. Brian Pico got banned for something. I don't even know what they said, but it wasn't that big of a deal.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but have you heard the guys running their mouth? I mean, I would never do something like that.
No, never. JB,
neither.
Yeah, JB. Both you guys are the quietest folks we have here. I mean,
okay, so I'm not a road rage person. I don't know. Are either of you guys road rage people? I'm not at all. Like,
so I used to be, and now if somebody does something like cut me off or screaming at me, flip me off, whatever, I'll actually drive up next to them, look at them, and give them like the biggest smile and wave as nice as I can, because that tends to make them more mad than me telling them to go pound sand.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, I'm so bad. I have road rage standing in line.
I mean, oh no.
I'm not even in a car. I'm the most impatient human being that you've ever met.
Oh my God. Okay. So I am not, and which drives my son nuts because he loses his mind over everything. But so I am 99% of the time. I don't even care. Right. Because I like my normal commuter car, right, is a Honda Civic EG hatch. Right. Yeah. It's this big, right? It's exactly Otis's size bigger than I am. Like we pour ourselves into the car and off we go. So I can fit anywhere. So if somebody does something stupid, I'm just like, okay, I'm in, I don't care. Right. I am just not in that big a hurry to care anyway, whatever. But there are certain things that annoy the hell out of me. And tonight on the way home to be on here was one of them, because this woman was in a car, CRV in front of me. And if you're on 75 in Dallas and into like Richardson and Plano, where I'm at, in traffic, you can get off the freeway, and the off ramp is after the cross street, because here in Texas, we have service roads that run on the frontage roads.
I can't drive those, man. They drive me crazy.
Okay, so here's the one good thing. The off ramp is right after a cross street. The on ramp is right before the next one, which means you can go off and right back on in traffic and just right. So I'm fifth gear, 70 mile an hour. I'm just off the freeway, back on the freeway, right? The object is never touch the brakes, right? Momentum. It's just like road racing, right? And so I get 50 miles to the gallon in this little car. Well, this woman is in the right lane next to me, and I've gotten off of the freeway. I'm in the entrance lane, though, to get back on the freeway in another 3/8 or half a mile. This woman is in front of me by 3 car lengths and turns her blinker on, and I give her the flash, like, come on. And I'm going the exact same speed she is. She sits there with her blinker. I'm like, give her the flash. Come on. I flash this woman 3 or 4 or 5 times, right? Ultimately, she won't move over. So I move over behind her. She moves over, and I move right back behind her and then get on the freeway. And I'm like, so then, I'm laughing, right? I'm not upset. I'm thinking she's stupid, but I'm not yelling or anything. Get off on the freeway. It's an exit only lane that you get into, which then will put me to my actual exit. Okay. Well, she moves over into the regular lanes of traffic, right? And I go up. She speeds up as I'm going past her to flip me off. What the hell did I do? Like, seriously? I was like, man, I was being nice. I didn't hang you out to dry by driving right next to you when you were trying to get on the freeway. Like, I actually moved over so your dumb ass would go. Like, whatever.
Brian says that you weren't supposed to flash her your boobs.
I know. I thought I was being so nice. I thought if I flashed her mine, or she might, I don't know. Reciprocity here. What? Come on.
She didn't want to get the flashes, Valerie says.
Apparently.
Come
on, Val.
Pissed.
What?
Time I've ever flashed anybody, they're pissed.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Oh God, that's too funny. So,
see, if you drive in Europe, you are behind somebody by a quarter of a mile. You give them a flash. They're like, oh, yep, I see you. Whoa, out of the way. You never have to slow down. It's great.
So talking cars, man. I heard from a bird that you were interested in the 82 Camaro drag car.
Me?
Yeah.
Which car?
So
that doesn't narrow things down really, because I have a lot. Like, if I shared my screen right now, I could show you 6 different cars that I've looked at in the last 8 hours on Marketplace. Now, keeping in mind, I'm a broke dick, so I can't afford to go and buy any of these. But there is one that I'd really like to buy that I'm not going to give you guys all the details on because somebody will swoop in. But I have a plan for a burnout car for LS Fest, and I found myself an old race car that it would be so perfect for this.
Is this particular race car in Michigan?
No.
Okay.
No, wait. The race car in Michigan that you're talking about Jeff Lee's.
Yeah.
So
Jeff and I were talking about this car too, because him and I talked about it. And then he's like, hey, man, he hit me up today earlier. He's like, hey, if you want something to talk about today, Chad was interested in the car as well. I'm like, man.
Dude. So that car, I knew Jeff's dad, Skip, like awesome dude. Like I've had a bunch of great conversations with him. So that car, yes, I am interested in. I just can't afford it. I mean, I have so many projects already, and I'm still trying to finish the shop, which we were working on some stuff today there to get ready for all the siding to go up. It's getting close, but I mean, dude, I have like if you really want to hear the list, I'm going to sound like the richest guy, and I'm a broke dick because I have all of these.
No, you're
So,
not rich. You just have a lot of cars.
I just have a lot of cars. I'm an idiot. So I have, so here at the house with me right now, I have Daphne's 66 Bel Air wagon. I have my 94 Honda Civic, and I have my 93 S10 Blazer. At the shop, I have my 56 Chevy Bel Air station wagon, my 87 square body dually, my 69 Camaro convertible, my 1955 Series 1 Chevrolet school bus, a vintage RV trailer, in then cars I own but do not have in my possession. I have an 87 Chevette that's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I have
oh man, that Chevette sounds amazing.
It's going to be awesome. I have an 86 square body Suburban that's in Kansas. I have a 96, I think it is 96 or 7 extended cab S10 in Northern California. Also, that's mine. And what else? I think I'm missing something else, and then my dad's 68 Z28 Camaro, his 66 Nova. There's so much stuff. I mean, so many cars. So when we get the shop done, like literally there is going to be a car in each stall, 3 or 4 in the fab area. Like everything's going up, getting ready, and work on every single day, one car or another, because there's a jillion of them. And somebody said, school bus? Yes, Chris Brown, school bus. Because the school bus is like 30 some odd foot long. I'm cutting like 13 feet out of the middle of it, putting it upstairs on a mezzanine to be my office in the shop, and then scrunching the 2 parts together, putting it on a short chassis, bagging it, and it's going to become the road trip machine. So yes.
That sounds epic.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
The market car guy is you own like 15 to 20 cars and half of them don't run, and you're constantly scrolling the internet looking for more projects, right?
Oh, 100%. Man. That's exactly it. That is exactly it.
So we got a group chat with the
Becky is so impressed by me because all the time I'm like, look at this one. And she's like, damn it.
Yeah. Dude, I am telling. So my first car is my 69 Camaro. Okay. I got it when I was 13. So, but I didn't start driving in it because it wasn't done yet. Okay. So I drove a 1985 Mitsubishi Mighty Max pickup truck.
Oh, that's
that my grandpa bought brand new. Was the thing that I drove. Well, not my first year of driving. I shared a car. I used my mom's car when she wasn't using it. And then the rest of the time, when I ended up getting to drive this truck that, again, my grandfather had. So that became mine when I was 18, I think it was. My grandpa gave me that thing. And when I graduated high school, no, it was before I graduated. But anyway, I lowered it. I did all this stuff to it. It was awesome. I loved it. Right. Well, I've been looking for that body style of Mighty Max truck, which ended in 86. And there was a Dodge Ram 50, which was the same thing with just 4 headlights.
My dad's got one of the little Dodge Ram 50s now. That thing is clean.
Oh, dude. And so the 86, let's see what I'm going to share my screen here. So the 86 is the last year of what I'm going to call the round body. Okay. And this one is $1,000.
All right, let me go ahead and bring this in.
Yeah, there you go. This one's $1,000. It's straight. The motor's blown up in it. But get this. For 85 and 86, these had a 4G63 in them. It was a 4G63B. It has a little rust in the tailgate. I can fix that. And some swanky interior, as you can tell.
I'm not gonna lie, man. That thing would be really cool to Hemi in it.
It'd be real. I don't even care. I'd keep the 4G63 is fine with me too. But it's one of those where I've wanted that truck again. Mine was a turbo diesel. When we moved to Texas, I sold it to somebody because it had a blown up motor in it and stuff. Nowadays, I would have put whatever in it. It was a diesel in California, like no smog. It was the greatest thing. But yeah, so that thing they're asking $1,000 for. If I could get the guy down to like $500 or $700, I'd probably buy it. Because I want another mini truck, even though I have lots of things. I'm stupid, but I want it.
Hey,
That's
speaking of
awesome.
trucks, Josh can attest. I've got one of the
Oh yeah.
he loves in the United States, and I took the little truck in. Thinking I was going to build an autocross little truck, and I'm going to clean up with this thing. When I get it, it is so nice. It's like 43,000 original miles. There's no scales on the factory exhaust. I mean, no sun checking in the tail lights. I mean, this thing's incredible, and it's so nice. I can't bring myself to cut it up, but heavy, so it's like
this
See,
truck.
now, okay, so I very rarely have ever had something I'm afraid to cut up. Okay, but it has happened a couple times. But I have to tell you, like, so if I owned that Chevy Love, I would have to lower it, like as much as possible. And then I could leave it alone. Like if I just lowered it, does it have hubcaps on it or what?
Oh yeah. It's got
this
great.
It's a factory air conditioned truck. I mean, it's baby blue fleet side. It's so cute. The spot welds are still, you can see them in the bed. The inside of it had a repaint, but it's not full of mud or anything because you can see all the factory spot welds in it. I mean,
Wow.
Yeah. So this thing, I'll tell you, I looked at this thing last week, and when I was over at JB getting some pizza, 7-hour drive for some pizza is well worth it. Yeah, I was looking at this thing, man, and I'll tell you right now, this thing could be a museum piece. Like if Chevy wanted to have a Love on the museum floor, this would be the truck to put it on the museum floor.
Dude,
yeah.
I love that. I love it.
It's on the sun visors. I mean, it's crazy. And
how much did you have to give for this thing?
I took it in on trade. We did an LS swap in a square, and it was a much lesser truck. The guy owns a ton of them, and so we had traded on another truck, and we did the LS swap to make it look like General Motors did it, not like try to hide the wires and the computer and stuff.
Right.
And he loved it. I tried to get this truck on trade when we did it. He knew I love my truck, won't do it. And he comes by and he sees his truck finished, and he says, "I'll be back next week to get it." And when he shows up, he brought me this one, and it was like he owns several Chevy Loves, and this was like the pride of the fleet.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got that truck, and I would love to have. You're talking about the Chevette, man. One of my first cars ever was a '78 Chevette. I love them, and I want another one. So, but anybody watching, if you know a good solid Chevette, JB is looking.
See, and I'll tell you, I'm doing a late model engine and trans swap in it. It'll have it's a 4-cylinder with a turbo and a 6-speed. Like I'm going to set it up to be just a fun little cruiser car. Like it will probably be on, it'll probably be on 15-inch wheels actually most of the time, even if I did put maybe a 17 and a tire to go autocross it, but it is not going to be set up to be a autocross car or a drag car. It's going to be set up just to be a fun little driver that makes 300 horsepower. So
that sounds perfect.
I would love that myself. Becky just like, "Are you on drugs? You got Chevette, another one?" Yes, I do.
I don't believe so. Like I realize they take up more room, but I don't believe I don't believe that you can you can't have too many. Like what? I don't know what that. I mean, as long as you're not broke, or broker, then whatever. Like I don't care. I mean, we have 5 acres, and I already have an area behind the shop like set aside that's going to end up being like fenced off to be the wrecking yard, so to speak. Like,
maybe I can talk Becky into making enough of the Chad chili sauce, and we can sell it to Chevette. I can fund the Chevette.
Yes.
I don't know, man. JB, I think well, between you and Chris Brown, you know, I'm gonna go out and throw this out there. You ain't got no. You said you're not a tech guy. Well, Chris Brown's internet's garbage, and you having issues here tonight. We might need to sponsor you a computer, and then we could start monetizing these podcasts, and you get a cut.
Yeah. So Sean Rupp says he knows where there's a Chevette on a Corvette chassis. So I was going to do that years ago with a Pinto, actually, on a C4 chassis. It's super easy. The chassis, the track width is too wide, but the wheelbase is exactly the same. Like a Pinto and the Corvette are like an inch difference in wheelbase. So literally you have two choices. You either big flare the thing, or you cut right down the middle and widen it up, and poof, it fits. I mean, it's a cakewalk. Putting a C4 Corvette chassis, as JB knows, the hardest part about working with one is getting the original Corvette rockers off the frame rails. Because if you cut the body off of one, which I've done, the frame rails are completely encapsulated and glued to a real metal frame rail under that big rocker that you step over to get in the car. And so once you cut the car off of it, you'll still have these pieces that are bonded on there. And literally, like, the only way to get them off is with a grinder and a multi-tool, and like, it's horrible, but it works.
But in my new exploits, I'm doing the C5 swap under the C4, the hot rod one. And
God, yeah, this thing, it's C4.5.
So I've actually narrowed the cradle, and I'm using a quick change, Winter's quick change. It's really not that hard to narrow those. I think you could do a C5 under one.
I agree too. I can tell you that right now in Southern California, there is there's a hot rod that a friend of mine built that is getting built, that is completely like, the car is a factory unibody car, from the 30s. But it's a cord. We all know what a cord looks like. So this thing was a parts car that, because it was a parts car, they decided we're going to build it into a hot rod, and we don't care if we're tearing up a cord, right? So it is C5 front suspension, okay, all hung on with a new cross member, cantilever shock setup and all this. And then in the rear, it's a narrowed C5 transaxle. I mean, the whole thing fits under this car like it's easy. Like putting C5 and putting Corvette stuff under regular cars is simple. Like really simple compared to what you'd think, Yeah.
It's so many people are doing it.
Fast, not simple. Doable, not simple.
Yeah.
JB, you're also adding a Winter's quick change, which changes everything. So
I've entered the car at Daytona, and there's going to be some mile per hour there, so we're trying to get more rigid. Well, you saw we're working on the cage. All that stuff wasn't really in it when Josh saw it, but once again, I'm coming out with basically an entirely new car with just sort of the same paint scheme.
You know what? It happens. I'm about to do the same thing. I mean, I haven't torn into mine yet, but it's going to be completely different. We're moving to Vikings this year. So that's going to be a big change. We're doing a little bit different setup on the front suspension, running a taller ball joint. I'm going to drop the car down a bit. Motor wise, it's going to be a totally different car. So it's going to feel different. It's going to take me an event or two to get used to it again.
Oh, me too. I've never started the season with a car that I'm used to. It's always like a totally new car. And I'm also thinking about putting like a brush guard or a cow catcher on the front. So
yeah.
And I rewatched the videos and stuff, and you can hear the disgust in Chad's voice. It's like, this. I don't want to claim him as my friend now, because he's evidently like on drugs. I don't know what's going on, but it's JB. it was hilarious.
Well, what's funny about that is that,
because I want you to do well, and then you're like, yes.
So I got to be honest, man. I missed the whole thing. We had the kids there, and we were getting them all ready so we could get them to bed and everything like that, and then walk our way down to the trackside so we could watch. And Tim and Jeff were back. And I'm like, you guys were helping JB. What happened? And they're like, you didn't see? I'm like, no, we're just getting the kids to bed. Oh, man. And then an hour later, I'm sitting there thumbing on Facebook as the shootout's continuing, and the memes started flying. I think the memes came faster than the fastest time on the course.
I always said that if we quit spending all this money on suspension and instead made a system that would catch a cone and put it back, then that wouldn't matter. Like, I don't give a you could show up in a Yugo and beat everybody because you're like, whoa, hey, what cone?
Oh man, we're good. No cones.
Yeah.
Sound less bad is if you're not hitting cones, you're not trying. So that night I was way over trying, I guess. But it did more for people knowing who I am, my popularity, whatever you want to call it. That one deal, I couldn't have won and had more people talk about me.
That's
Maybe
true.
Not a good way, but man, everybody knows now that I'm the killer of cones.
Yeah, the killer of cones, the Pied Piper of pizza, the cone cutting, salt in the swing.
Hey, we got a special guest. Hop up here, Vince.
Oh, there he
Vince, my dude.
Oh, look at that.
My dude.
Say hi, everybody.
What's up, Vince?
Vince is he's happy to be there.
Can you see it?
No, you got Vince in your atmosphere too. That's awesome.
Oh, man, that's great.
Online.
Dude, that's so good.
That is perfect.
I love Vince. Vince is the best.
That is. Well, guys, we're at an hour at this point, and I have absolutely had a blast tonight. I do want to throw this out that Tim and Jeff, the Bing Bong duo, Tim and Jeff Gordon, thought they were going to try to have a crack at both of you guys, and as far as ratings go, and they weren't able to do so. So we're going to bring them on again here in probably another month or so, and see if we can try to bolster their hurt feelings.
Why not?
I mean, try to help them
anytime
feel a
you
little
want
bit
us
better.
to be on the show, I'm down. You just let me know.
That's awesome. Well, Chad, I appreciate that, brother. JB, I appreciate you coming on here. You guys are awesome, and we always get an awesome uptick of people following us after you guys come on. But the most important thing with today is trying to get some awareness out for the follow-on mission and help get them moving forward and get that car on track this year.
And
Absolutely.
Like Chad and I were talking there, I think it was before we came on air. We may have something even funnier than the Tortilla Challenge coming up.
Yes.
Right now, we'll save it for a later date. But Chad said he was in. I'm in if he is. So stay tuned. He's going to take care of it all. I'm just the flunky that rides along.
That sounds awesome. Well, right on, guys. Well, at this point, man, if you are interested in helping out the follow-on mission, you can go direct to their website at thefollowonmission.org, or you can reach out to me at Josh at OSS Parts and let me know and what you want to try to do and help out. So if you're interested, please let me know, and we'll try to get them squared away and get them on track. As always, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you much. For you guys in Facebook land, thank you much. Always appreciate coming on here. This has become my new favorite thing of the week. I look forward to doing SITREP every week. It's a blast. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching. It's been a great time.
Absolutely. Hey. Thanks for having us.
Go ahead again. Yep. Say that again, JB.
We appreciate everybody that tuned in to watch. And definitely. I would encourage everybody to support this mission. I think it's a great thing.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Agreed. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later. Stay tuned. Also, I have multiple podcasts going, and we have a new one we're adding that has not been made public. And JB doesn't even know anything about it, but Becky is going to need to be a guest on it. It's food related. So, yeah. So let her know that I'll hit you guys up.
Becky, come here. Come here.
Oh, yeah. We're going to let her know right now.
Hey, tell her, Chad.
Hey, we're going to do a new podcast that's food related, and you're going to be on it. Okay. I'm requiring it.
I think she's in.
Okay, good. All right.
Nice.
Thank you, everybody. Seriously appreciate it, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Bye.